Yeah, we made it. All right, let's see if we get some computer screen time and some volume and all that. See if you guys can hear me. So we'll start with that one as I watch my screen, watch your comments. Finley says 5x5. Healthy Disrespect says 5x5. And now my computer's finally coming up. Okay, a bunch of you guys can hear me. All right. That's John 11 by 11. Okay, good deal. All right, so I saw somebody made a comment a minute ago, says free play 99. We already had 100. No, we had 100 on Tuesday. We're still at 99 on Saturday. So we're a couple behind because I didn't start doing the Saturday night live streams till a couple of weeks after we were doing the Tuesdays. So yeah, next week, next week will be the 100th live stream, and that'll be pretty much the way we'll end the year because I'm not going to do a live stream on Christmas Eve, and I'm not going to do a live stream on New Year's Eve. So next Saturday, and then we'll take a couple of weeks off. I'm going to do Christmas dinner and Christmas presents with Mrs. P on Christmas Eve, and then all of us on the mountain here get together and celebrate New Year's. So I will be doing that with them. So yeah, I do have a life outside of YouTube, believe it or not. So, all right. Big news of the day, probably the most important thing that came up. Army beat Navy 2017 in 2 overtimes, but it's nice that we finally took those squids and put them in their place. Come on, guys. I earned that just like you earned the right to call us grunts. All those you guys that are ex-military know that. It's like we can call each other grunts or jarheads or squids or zoomies or whatever. If you weren't in the military, you didn't earn the right to say that. The rest of us say it with respect. It's fun, but it's respect. So that was it. So, but yes, 2 overtimes. What was it? I obviously didn't watch the game, but no TV. But what was it? Navy fumbled on the 2-inch line or something like that, going to win the game, and the guy tried to hot dog it or reach or whatever it would be, and fumbled. Oops. Yeah. He might be doing a couple extra push-ups in practice on Monday. My bet. So there we go. All right. So other than that, it rained a little this afternoon here, but it's been dry for 36 hours. So I did get the second coat of pond sealant in, so that was good. Was happy about that. And then a little bit of rain helps because that'll kind of dissolve it and do everything. So I'm hoping that one more time, once there's water in it again, and I'll be good. This is an interesting one, going to the pond. And I say this because you guys ask me all the time. A lot of you guys have asked me about if I'm going to put fish in there. Yeah, we're going to put bluegill and red ears, shell crackers for those of you guys that call it that, and then some largemouth bass. I don't know if I'll put a couple of grass carp in there yet, for the simple reason is if nothing grows, then I don't need them. If we have grass growing, because remember, this is all clay bottom. We'll see. All right, but I'm not going to kill a couple of fish just because, gee, I got them. But so I was looking around for hatcheries the other day, and it's funny because there's no fish hatcheries that sell to the public. I either have to go all the way to Nashville or down to Alabama or Georgia. There's nothing nearby. I got a kick out of that. I was looking on YouTube, like everybody else does too, see what there was some guy. This has got to be the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I mean, not him, but the fact that they do it. He bought live fish, $500 worth from Amazon. Yeah. And so they shipped him 3 boxes. There's a video of this. You can go find this. But 3 boxes of fish. One was completely busted. And, so whoever the UPS driver, FedEx driver, whatever, probably had water all over his truck. And in all 3 bags, all the fish were dead. $500 pissed away. I'm thinking to myself, who in their right mind would buy something like that from Amazon? I mean, yes, we all have a need for Amazon for some things because you can't find it locally or it's not convenient. I mean, I know that because a lot of stuff we get, my choice is either drive all the way to Knoxville, spend $30 worth of gas, or buy it online and have somebody else spend the gas and bring it to me. It's always, it's $7 postage. Yeah, and if I went and got it myself, it'd cost me 25, $30 in gas. $7 is cheap. So you do it that way, whatever. But I mean, to each his own. It was just kind of interesting, though, that you can actually buy live fish on Amazon. I wonder if they're made in China. It's probably why they were all dead. But that was just kind of interesting. So yeah, if anybody knows fish hatcheries that are closer than Alabama, Georgia, or Nashville to me, please let me know. TWRA does not sell to the public, by the way, though. So there's my issue on that. That was kind of fun. And other than that, it was deal with the sealing of the pond today and just taking care of a little personal business and some neighborhood business today. So all in all, it was a good day. We'll see what happens. But yeah, there could be some fun for me and some not so much fun for some other people in the future. Don't fight if you don't know it. If you can't, if you can't do the crime or can't do the time, don't do the crime. Yeah, because I don't cower in a corner. I am not a shrinking violet. Yeah, there's a few companies that don't want to mess with me because they've lost their ass. So, people, and no big deal. So we'll deal with that. But yeah, so that was kind of fun. Not a whole lot. I mean, again, we're 2 weeks before Christmas. It's going to be slower news time, everything. I know people have asked me about the railroad strike. I haven't seen anything yet on whether or not, I know Congress is saying they have to go back to work, but whether or not the guys go back to work next week, who knows? Or whether they do a sick out or strike, there's nothing new. I know Steve Poplar did a story today. I haven't seen anything about it. I guess there was another attack on a Duke Energy transformer, this time in South Carolina. I guess they caught the guys and no damage was done or anything like that. But yeah, I haven't seen much on that. The other thing, and a couple of you guys mentioned this, I cannot verify this yet. It's on this morning's video when I was telling you about the bank that declined the credit card at the gun store. A couple of you sent me emails saying that the bank has come out and said that this isn't true. Somebody photoshopped this story, which I'm not saying that's not true. Okay. I mean, that's very possible. The funny part is you had a lot of media that picked up that story throughout the day, talking about it. So if it was a fraud, a hoax, pretty good one because the media picked up on it. I'll wait to pass judgment because this could be, the bank got caught with their hand in a cookie jar and now they're trying to do damage control. Okay. I go back to the same thing with PayPal with originally on the, oh no, we're not fining everybody $2,500 because of what they say on social media, and it disappeared. And 2 weeks later it came back. Okay. I'm just saying. The story as of this morning was it happened, and there were floats around that didn't. I'll wait to see how it all shakes out at this point. But just, wanted to say that if it turns out it was a hoax, then I got hoaxed too. Okay. And that's always possible. I'm not perfect. Ain't nowhere close. Okay. So that was that. But all right. So let us get into Q&A tonight, and I'm going to kind of go through how this all works. As usual, we are in subscribers only mode. Everybody's got to be here for at least a day. Keeps the riffraff out of here. We had quite a bit of that today in the comments. There were just some people that like to believe lies, and so they were. And I thank you. There was one from 10 hours ago or something like that, and this guy came in. He was spreading lies or whatever about me and the channel and everything, and I thank those of you who got in there and came to my defense and told this guy he was full of shit. So thank you. Y'all know what makes this channel tick. It's all of us and working together and everything. There's scumbags everywhere, okay? In real life, online, whatever it is, people that don't get the whole story, you know how that goes, right? And just like you do online, just like you do in real life, if there's scumbags, you ignore them. And so that's what we do. Tell them to hit the bricks and go from there. So moderators will take care of that tonight. They know, they always do a hell of a job. But so kind of what we do, guys, if you are here relatively new, first live stream or whatever, this is all about you guys. This is Q&A for you guys on live streams. That's what we do here. Chance for you guys to talk about what you want to talk about, not what I've decided I'm going to talk about. So, and we go everywhere. I mean, whether it's gardening, politics, economics, finance, old movies, rock and roll, cars, you name it, we've talked about it here at one time or another. So the idea is to have a little bit of fellowship, a little bit of camaraderie, a little bit of fun, get a little bit of information. So, and I put the live stream link up, 3:30 or something like that. There were people here talking for 3 hours, 4 hours in here, so which I think is really cool. So if you have a question for me, please put it in all caps, but as always, feel free to have conversations amongst yourselves. The only thing I ask, if you're going to do that, keep it in lowercase. It keeps the live stream going faster because I can focus just on looking for the stuff that's in all caps. Just like every other YouTube channel, works pretty easy. The one thing I do demand is that everybody treat each other civilly and with respect. If you want to be an ass, leave now, okay? Because if you don't, we'll make you. It's pretty simple, all right? We decide who gets to stay here. You can call it censorship all you want. Yeah, I will too. You're an ass, you're gone. Period. There ain't no second chances. So that would be the extent there. So let's get into this. I'm going to go to the top. I try to get to as many questions as I can. There's nothing that's off limits, okay? Obviously, let's not get into anything X-rated. But, keep it PG-13, guys, and we're good. All right. Lyle Rasmussen, starting to save coffee grounds for the garden to you. Lyle, you must be relatively new around here. Yes, I've done videos on how to make different fertilizers. Matter of fact, yesterday I was grinding up my turkey carcass, some chicken bones, eggshells, dried out banana peels, and coffee grounds, and making I got almost 2 quarts of fertilizer. I figure I need about 16 over the winter of making fertilizer. So yes, I do save my coffee grounds, my eggshells, my banana peels. Depending on the garden, some will get dried potato peels, and then certainly any chicken bones, poultry bones, or whatever makes great bone meal. Beef bones would be just as good. Pork bones, the problem is they're too hard. Chicken bones, once you dry them out, they're a little easier to break up. So that's why I use a lot of that. We eat a lot of chicken. So let's see. Jay Myers, my local co-op doesn't have the fish truck show up. Not that I know of, but I can always ask them. It's a possibility. So yeah, I will check that out. Thanks for the tip. Michelle J, is there not a hatchery outside of Morristown? Yeah, that's TVA again, and they do not sell to the public. I already checked that one out. Shipping live fish like shipping live chickens. Yeah, that'd be about it. The difference is, some things, like Mr. Mountaintop Preps was telling me today, they ship bees through the mail. Yeah, there's a little difference, okay? Chickens or bees or whatever, they breathe air. You're not trying to ship water. Okay, there's going to be air in that box no matter what you do. Water, all it takes is one little hole and the water's gone and fish need it, So, Jesse Blackburn, from personal experience, put in brim and bait fish and catfish. They make a good ecosystem. Mrs. P's not a big fan of eating catfish. So, again, it's kind of like the garden. If I ain't going to eat it, I ain't going to grow it. But I will definitely put in bluegill and red air. Those will go in. That'll be the first year will be the bluegill, the red air, and a bunch of fathead minnows. let the bluegill grow a little bit. Year 2 will be the bass. So, get the bluegill chance to grow, get ready for spawn. Otherwise, if I put them all at the same time, the bass are going to outgrow the bluegill and they're going to eat them all. So I want the bluegill to start getting a population going. Mary, Pinball, do you know your elevation on your mountain? I am at about 1,100 feet above sea level. And yeah, I've checked that before, so I do know that. Spin around. Okay, it's coming back. Somebody give me a quick 5x5. 1 or 2, I don't need 50. Just to see if it came back for you guys. Okay, Grammy Lauren. Okay, a few of you guys. Yeah, it went blurry. All right, I'm going to try this. It went blurry again. I'm going to put it on, if I can do this here. If I lose you, I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to try to switch this over. Okay, let's see if the picture's any better now. I switched it over to 4G again because it's raining. So 5x2, 5x5. Let's see if we get to the bottom here because I can see this buffering. Yeah, it was buffering because I had switched the internet. Yes, I'm back. So, all right, hopefully that's a little better. It doesn't look any better on my end, but try to switch it over and see what we got. Okay. We will do what we got to do. Let's see. Hill Bill, in Ohio, a hatchery goes around the feed mills in the summer. Okay, well, I've got to get these in early spring. I was talking, there's a website that's called, was it Pond Boss, I think it was, and I was checking it out. Didn't even know this. Apparently, there is a new kind of hybrid brim called a speckle-bellied sunfish, and I guess only one place has come up with it. And I mean, y'all know bluegill. I mean, how big they get. I mean, if you get some good bluegill. I think the record they've got so far is like 4.5 pounds, and they expect to find a 6-pound bluegill. Yeah, it's like, really? But it just kind of, guys like, yeah, get these. They'll get you great fish. I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a lot. So. Voodoo Queen says local co-op has fish days in the spring. I will check with them and see, because I've got one in Tazewell, one in Maynardville, so I will co-ops at least, so we'll see. But thank you for that. If that works here, that will save me a lot of driving. Terry Hardaway, can't I harvest from the lake? Yes, I could. However, I don't want to risk bringing in any sort of disease, pathogens, or anything like that. And the pond is about 1/5 of an acre, so it would take me an awful lot of fish to catch to stock the pond. I mean, the bluegill probably wouldn't be terrible, but trying to get enough bass, and then of course now you're talking about size, because you can't harvest anything from the lake that's not in slot. And the last thing I want to do is because I'll go out there and I'll catch 6-inch bass all day, but you got to throw those back. And the last thing I want to do is take a bunch of 6-inch bass out, and all of a sudden I get busted somewhere. So it's not worth it. I will just go pay the $100 or whatever it is to stock the fish, and then I know they're the right size, and I can time everything and deal with that. Yeah, to answer your question, yes, I could. It's just more trouble than it's worth. Healthy disrespect for authority. I ask at Walmart, they have bait, they might have fish. Not around here. The Walmart we have is like one of the old school Walmarts. It's, the sporting goods stores or sporting goods section's like 3 aisles, and, the gun rack is empty. There's never any bullets and stuff like that. I mean, no, it's not around here. Phyllis Milligan, do I make compost teas and let them steep over the winter? Any type in particular? I did a video on this last fall. I've still got it sitting out here with this year's in there. But you can literally take any garden waste you have, green waste. You want to mix some green waste and some brown waste. Again, a lot of you guys would know I've got some, grow some comfrey or grow some, just lost the name of it. Crap. What's the other one? I can't think of what the other, it'll come to me here in a second, but comfrey is excellent to throw in your tea for over the winter, everything like that. If you're going to do over the winter tea, though, make sure if you're using a plastic container that it's indoors or you're somewhere where it doesn't get below freezing. Otherwise, you're going to bust your plastic container. So, let's see. Amazon fish are probably from a third-party seller. Sure, they are. So, let's see. Get a net and hit the lake. Yeah, I could. And again, like I just said, I mean, bluegill, you can take whatever you want. But then again, I don't know if I'm getting bluegill, if I'm getting green sunfish, if I'm getting red ears, whatever would be. And it's, yeah, and varied size. It's not worth it. Happy Trails says the fish hatchery near Morristown. Yeah, that one I did check. That's TVA, and I can't get, they don't sell to the public. There used to be one up in Sneedville, but they closed. So, Cindy says, make sure I get crawdads for the pond. Why? You're the first person that said that. Why not go fishing and catch the fish? Again, because of everything I just said. Neurotic Prepper, how are you sealing your pond with water in it? It's a product called Dammit, D-A-M-I-T. And literally it is a powder that when it hits water, it dissolves into a sticky jelly type stuff. And then anywhere the water is, then it'll sink. And anywhere there's any sort of pressure, water is going through any sort of leak or whatever it is, it'll fill that hole with that sticky, gooey, whatever. And then it just kind of settles on the bottom and seals up the bottom. So, and it's not harmful to fish or wild or plant life or anything like that, but it seals it. So, Becca B, I'm looking into getting some antibiotics stocked up. What are the top 3, 4 recommended? It depends. I mean, a lot of people say amoxicillin or penicillin or anything like that. It depends on what works for you. I mean, when I was a kid, I think I was 7 years old or something like that. I had spinal meningitis. I was in a coma for 3.5 weeks. And they pumped me so full of penicillin during that time that now penicillin, you could be hitting me with saline solution. Okay, penicillin does not work. So anytime I need an antibiotic or whatever, they need to give me amoxicillin or something else like that because, it depends. But, Rudy over at Alaska Prepper had some sort of arrangement with a company that sells antibiotics online. You got, and I can't say anything about him. I don't. The only reason I know it is I saw his video on it. Okay, and so, but in my understanding, in order to get antibiotics, you have to have a prescription. And now considering there's a antibiotic shortage, there's that problem. The thing I'd say is be careful with getting some of those. I know everybody says, oh, you can get it through a Canadian pharmacy. Yeah, you can, okay? And it comes from India, and who knows what you're getting, okay? Last thing you want to do is go, oh, don't worry about it, I've got antibiotics, and you find out you got a bunch of sugar pills. Just saying, okay? Not saying all of them are like that, but I guarantee you some of it is counterfeit. So, make sure you're getting it through some place that's reputable. But as for top 3 or 4 recommended, that's more something you want to talk to your doctor about. That's not something I'm going to be able to give you an answer for. My hat size, I think I'm 7 1/8. Maybe it's 7 1/4. One of the two. I think it's 7 1/8. Kim Tucker, can you plant garlic in a tote box? Sure, no problem. If garlic does not have deep roots, I mean, maybe 2 inches, when you're planting a garlic clove, you're only putting it about 1 inch deep. Planting garlic is very similar to planting onions. But now is the time of year now you should have already had the garlic in. Okay, if you're getting it in now, especially if you're in 7B, you're probably a little late. Not going to matter. You can still get it in. You just may be harvesting closer to the beginning of August rather than the middle of July. So, but yeah, you can do it in a tote box, no problem. You need to keep them maybe about 4 inches apart, and you're fine. Little Hillside Homestead, Cave Run Lake in Moorhead, Kentucky has a fish hatchery. Okay, I'm not sure where Moorhead, Kentucky is, so let's take a look at that real quick and see how far away that is. Which will be on the other side of the state. That'll just drop me. We'll go from home to Moorhead, Kentucky. And Moorhead, Kentucky is not terrible, 3.5 hours away. Okay. That's unless I'm finding something right on the border in Alabama or Georgia, it's probably about the same drive for me. So, okay, thanks. Let's go back to this one. Might talk to some local fishermen. Sure. Let's see. Yeah, Robert Bates. No medical opinion should be offered. Like I said, talk to your doctor. Linda Bradley, I have a question. Some of my large water containers are leaking on the seams. Is there any way to fix them? The containers are the shape of Jeep gas cans. Depending on how big they are, I mean, if you got one of those big IBC totes, the water pressure is probably going to be too much. If they're the size of like 5-gallon jerry can or something like that, you might be able to. Obviously, they're plastic. You might see, depending on what you're going to use the water for. I mean, if you're going to use water for flushing the toilet or something like that, you can put some JB Weld on there, some spray sealant or whatever, and it'll be fine. If you're going to use it for drinking water, I'd probably suggest go getting new ones. Healthy disrespect for authority. Am I growing any herbs or spices next year? Now you're going to make me pull up my planner, huh? Okay, give me a second. As I was looking at this today, that all depends on what Mrs. P wants to grow. So let's see. I know for sure we are growing dill because she uses a ton of dill in her cooking. So let's see. What do we have? If you want to consider arugula, but that's not. Let's see. What do we got? Dill, garlic, parsley. That's all she's got on the list. Okay. But yeah, it's about again, there's not a whole lot of spices that we use. Dill is pretty much it. I mean, I don't even think we use oregano in anything. So, yeah, dill is probably about the only one, and I don't think we can grow caraway seed. So that we use with fish. All right, let's see. Big Dog Ma. Local game wardens may have an idea. They stock local lakes in the spring for trout fishing. I know I'm not doing trout, that's for sure. But again, I'm going to probably get a hold of TVA and see if they can help. I like the co-op idea. I think the co-op's going to be able to tell me more than anybody else. Undesirables. There you go. We can just add that to the business card. Go with the racist, homophobic, Islamophobic, transphobic, deplorable. I guess we can just say undesirable too. Mark Rimmer, just finished my first vinegar with oranges. Worked out great. There you go. Did you do it with oranges or did you do it with the orange peels? I got mine with the orange peels. That came out great. Get prepped. Just a little tip. Railroad will go on strike after New Year's Day. Okay. Where you know that from? I'm not going to ask. But all right. Oh, I wanted to show you this because usually it's never heard of this one. Had to pick it up. Anybody ever heard of Yeehaw beer? Tonight's beverage of choice. It's a German Dunkel beer, a dark beer. So, all right. It is 9:30. You guys feel like doing a trivia question? Let me get down to the bottom here. And I will tell everybody right now. Remember, we are on, you got your little clock. So in between comments, 90 seconds that you've got to wait. So I would suggest right now, if you are going to participate in the trivia contest, to stop making comments, because when I ask the question, if you're still on your little clock, everybody else gets time to answer before you do. Now, we found last time that if we make the question a little more difficult, that solves the problem of people saying, gee, I'm seeing answers before I heard the question. So Mrs. P and I made the questions a little more difficult. I hope. I mean, somebody could go, snap, got it. But we'll see what happens. So if you guys have been around, you know, this is what we're doing in lieu of the 100,000 subscriber giveaway. We figure we do it before Christmas and everything. But this is what happens with all the super chats, guys. This is where this stuff goes. So we will do that. So looks like everybody caught wind here to stop. That is good. So tonight's question, and Mrs. P picked this out of the remaining ones. So if you don't like the question, blame her. Because we're getting close to planting and talking about buying seeds and stuff, in recent videos, I have mentioned 4 vegetables that I will never grow. Name 2 of them. First one to get 2 of them, we'll pick a number. Now, again, it's all how I see it on my computer. So name 2 vegetables. I went back and looked. I've named 4 vegetables that I will never grow. Name 2 of them. And again, I'm going to have to look here. Shut to the bottom. No. Well, this turned out to be a good question. Cat Girl 66, Swiss chard and okra. Those are 2 of them. Yes. The other ones were black-eyed peas. And what was the other one I named off? Hang on, I got to go back and look. The other 2 were black-eyed peas and collard greens. Yes. Swiss chard and okra. Yes. So, Cat Girl 66, that was a little quick. I can't believe how many guys said I wouldn't grow eggplant. I said I don't like eggplant, but we've grown eggplant. And everybody got the okra part real quick. A couple of you guys said cucumbers and corn and corn. I just said this afternoon I grown corn. All right, so Cat Girl 66, if everybody will give her a chance here, you get to pick one of 3 envelopes. Number 2, number 4, or number 6. So Cat Girl 66, pick an envelope, please. Cat Girl picks number 4. All right. Numero cuatro. What do we have here? Remember, I know what the prices are, but I don't know which ones are in which envelopes. Cat Girl 66 won a $250 Amazon card. That'll work. Just in time to go shopping for Christmas. So Cat Girl 66, if you would do me a favor and email me your email address, I will, after the live stream tonight, if you get it to me after the live stream tonight, I will email you a code for a $250 Amazon gift card. Congratulations and Merry Christmas. Here we go. All right. So that is that. We're 2 left. So that will be next Tuesday, or this Tuesday, and next Saturday. And that will get us done right before Christmas. How's that work out? So there we go. And then for those of you who have been here long enough, the Tuesday before Christmas is the day that you want to have your kids on the live stream. I'll leave it at that. Those of you who've been here long enough know exactly what I'm talking about, because that's always a fun live stream. All right. So let's get back into questions. And guys, if I didn't answer your question already, you're going to have to retype it in, because with all the contest entries, all the questions are too far up in the live stream or in the chat room for me to get to see them. All right. CB. Hi, Pinball. Do you have a real Christmas tree or artificial? We usually do a real tree, but starting next year, we might start artificial. Most here are 70 to 100 bucks. Found one for 44 bucks. Finally, I saw. Okay, first off, we have an artificial tree. Okay, just less mess, more convenience. Let's put it that way. And with 2 dogs running around, yeah, I don't need to be dealing with that. I saw something. Was it yesterday that the price of Christmas trees has gone up? I think it went up from, I think the guy said from $5 a foot to $6 a foot or something like that. And I'm like, that's still dirt cheap, because I mean, when I go past the grocery store, I'm seeing Christmas trees that look like they're 5.5, 6 foot trees, maybe for 75, 80 bucks. Okay. And I mean, these aren't your white pine or anything. These are the ones, that they've got wrapped up in netting or whatever. That's it. So, yeah, no, we have an artificial tree. Walmart, but it's an artificial tree, but we like that. It saves on having to remember to water, less fire hazard, no dog mess. So, yes. Southern Cat Lady, what time Tuesday? Guys, the live streams are always at the same time. 2.5 years, I haven't changed. I changed the Saturday one, but that was after maybe about 6 live streams. Saturday night is at 8 o'clock Eastern. Or I'm sorry, Tuesday night is at 8 o'clock Eastern. Saturday night is at 9 o'clock Eastern. It's been that way for at least 2 years. Firefox, what are you grinding up the bones with? Just a blender. Using chicken bones, I mean, and to understand this, chicken bones, turkey bones, like I said, those work better. What you want to do, eat your dinner, whatever. Throw all the bones in a pot of boiling water, just like you're going to make bone broth or broth or anything like that. Boil all the meat off the bones. Okay, now you've got your broth. You can go can your broth. Take the bones, rinse off any cartilage, any little scrap that's left on there or whatever it is. Throw them on a cookie sheet, throw them in the oven for about 1.5 hours at 250. That will completely dry out the bones. You know they're done when you can take a chicken leg bone and snap it in half. After that, they're fine to run through the blender. If you want to break it up, like the turkey carcass and stuff like that, because turkey bones are a little bigger, I will take that up, put it in a Ziploc bag, like a turkey leg bone or something is a little thicker. I'll put it in a Ziploc bag, put a towel over it, beat it a couple of times with a hammer to get it into pieces, and then just run it through a blender until I get it to a relatively fine powder, and works great. Sayors, what to companion plants next to onion or next to garlic? What you probably don't want to put next to it is something like onions. Okay, you don't want that, but garlic goes well with. You can put tomatoes next to it. Nightshades are usually pretty good. Tomatoes are fine. Yeah, tomatoes, peppers, cukes, that sort of stuff. Those are fine with garlic. I'm not a huge believer in companion planting. I'm more of the, okay, how do you want, I don't find as much benefit to the companion planting as I do use companion planting more for staying away from problems, if I can explain this. I mean, we all know, the Three Sisters method for, corn, beans, and squash. Okay, that's companion planting. Then you get a lot of people that say companion planting is some of it, because like legumes, peas or beans or whatever, nitrogen fixers, plant those next to your corn. That's good because when the peas are done, all that nitrogen's in the ground. That I'll agree with. Okay. But when I do my companion planting, it's more, I'm not going to plant my let's say my cabbage next to my broccoli or something, because they're in the same family, they have relatively the same pests, okay? And so you want to confuse the bugs. It's like, oh, you have cabbages next to tomatoes. Well, the bugs get confused, and it helps a little bit. So, don't have a brassica garden and a nightshade garden or something like that. That'll cause you problems. You want to have it staggered and strange. And I know people say, well, what about farmers? Well, farmers also use a lot of pesticides. So just saying. But Missy B question: do I think Putin will snap soon and increase what he's doing in Ukraine? The one article I did see today is Putin said something along the lines of, this is a red line. If you cross that, he was going to use hundreds of ballistic missiles. So, again, with the whole thing, Zelensky's an idiot, Biden's a moron, and Putin's playing chess. Okay. And between that combination, my biggest fear is one of them is going to start World War III. We all know Zelensky is trying to get a nuclear war started. Look at everything he's doing. He's begging for a nuclear war. Guy's an idiot. Okay. Problem is, Joe's dumb enough to do it. But Russia has consistently said they will not use their nuclear arsenal unless it's in retaliation. Can you trust them? Not really. Okay. But you got to put a little bit of blind faith in people at some point. If Russia starts getting their ass kicked, do they do it? Don't know. Okay. War's unpredictable. I can't give you an answer on what Putin's going to do. Remember, I'm the one that didn't think Putin was going to go into Ukraine. Okay. And yes, I was wrong. And yes, I admitted I was wrong. Okay. Not a problem. But as for trying to figure out what he's going to do now, I can't even begin to tell you. Johnny Coathanger, travel restrictions due to climate change. You're going to be locked down to travel radius zones. I did a video on this, week and a half, 2 weeks ago or whatever, on the 15-minute cities. Yeah, it's idiotic. Like I said, in 15 minutes, I cannot get to a retailer in 15 minutes if I drive from my house. Okay. The nearest gas station is about a 20-minute drive from me. There is nothing in the way. I couldn't buy a pencil until I get, I take it back. You got Rhonda's. Rhonda's is probably 19 minutes away. Yeah, that's about it. 15-minute city around me, 15 minutes on a bicycle, forget it. I'm done. There's no stores. It'll be all fine and dandy if they want to do this in the cities, and all the people who are thinking that living in a sardine can is a brilliant idea. Hey, have all power to it. I know they want to try to move us out of the country. It ain't ever happening. Okay. So many of these things I know we see. They're going to do this. They're going to make owning currency illegal. How are they going to enforce it? Okay. Seriously. All these laws that the World Economic Forum and the globalists say, how are they going to enforce it? They can't. Okay. Even if they brought in every UN troop in the world, the United States is enormous, guys. Okay. There's 141 million houses in the United States. Think about, try this sometime. Okay. And I did this. I hitchhiked from Dallas to Cincinnati. Try walking that for a while. Obviously I was hitchhiking. I'd catch a ride with a trucker. I did this a long time ago. But Walk to the, if you're in Dallas, walk to Fort Worth. Okay. That's a long freaking way. You know, they're not gonna be able to enforce a lot of this stuff that everybody worries about. You know, do I honestly think where I am? Do I honestly think some division of UN troops is going to come rolling in? No. There might be a car or two that come in. It probably won't leave, but uh, in a lot of places, it's not going to. They can say they're going to do all this sort of stuff, but this is why I keep insisting, guys. Unless the people agree to it, it doesn't happen. Okay. Yeah, as soon as they say everybody's using CBDC, and the people say no, we're not. Like, what did Nigeria do? We're going to make you only take $45 a day out of your bank. Guess what? Everybody started doing, taking $45. They're not going to use this stuff. It's not going to happen. Right? Same's going to happen here, just on a greater scale. James Robeson, want to grow lettuce this time, but know nothing about it. Help. Okay, lettuce is something that is a cold weather crop. All right, so you're going to want to be planting your lettuce early. I mean, like slightly before your last frost date. You can start it in seed trays in the house, everything like that. That'll work. Okay, or you can direct sow it outside. Understand, as soon as it gets warm out, as soon as summer rolls around, it's going to bolt. So you want to, lettuce is probably better in pots because you can take it outside in the spring, but then by summer you can move it into a garage or move it in the house or something where it's going to be a little cooler, because you get those 85, 90-degree days, lettuce going to taste like crap and it's going to bolt. So just remember, lettuce is a cool weather crop. You're going to grow it in the spring. You're going to grow it in the fall, outside. In the summertime, for the most part, anywhere in the United States, is going to be too hot to really have lettuce going without it bolting. Joyce Forby, your opinion about a Berkey water filter? It's pretty much best on the market. You're talking about Berkey's, Alexa Pures. I mean, either one of those is going to be wonderful. Those are the things that you're going to want. Okay. I mean, I've got the little travel Berkey. We don't use it. It is for an SHTF situation only. There's no reason I need to run my well water through a Berkey. My Berkey is for when I have to run my pond water through it so I have something to drink. Right now, I can run my well water right through my zero water, and it's fine. I'm not gonna waste all my Berkey filters right now on what my zero water can clean out. Prepping for heaven. My kids are in their 40s. Would they qualify? I don't understand the context of it. You got to give me a little bit more. Remember, guys, I'm like 15 minutes behind what you guys are typing in here, so the topics change left and right. Sidebar, which brings me up to something too. Just so you guys know, I've been getting emails from people. I saw something today too. A lot of people are saying, I posted a comment and it's getting deleted and whatever. A couple of things I want you to remember. It's not only my channel, this is on a lot of them. Most YouTubers will automatically block any comment that has a link in it. Why? Because there's a bunch of spam bots out there trying to scam you or trying to get you to go to X-rated websites and stuff like that. And if we let them go, you'll see the comment section. Every other comment will be hot girls here, XXX girls here, or whatever. So we block all those, right? But there's no way to block just that, because they changed the name. We can block an individual, but they changed the name so often. You'd have a list of 1 million people in there, and I'd be spending all day going through my chat room blocking people. So I block anything with the link. So if you're going to put a link in a comment, understand nobody's going to see it, including me, because I rarely ever go look at the junk file. Here's the other thing. This is a glitch in YouTube's system, so that you know. If you type something, and let's say it's Joe was here, period, Mary was here too, and you don't put a space between the period and Mary, it looks like .Mary. and YouTube automatically blocks that, thinking it's a link. So if you guys are wondering why your comments disappear, a lot of times it's not YouTube, it's not me, it's because you put a link in there or you put a typo in there that the algorithms think is a link, and it winds up going in the spam box. So I wanted to give you guys that, just a reminder. I noticed quite a bit of that today when I went through it. Probably the first time in 3 months I've looked in the spam box. I'm like, there's link after link after link. That's John. After I finish my pond, I got to stack moose and elk around it. Moose and squirrel. No, we got plenty of squirrels. Yeah. Leach them. How long do I toast the peels and the shells, and at what temperature? Temperature for banana peels and eggshells. Okay, for eggshells, first thing you want to make sure you do is rinse those eggshells out. You do not want any of the egg in there, so make sure if you made hard-boiled eggs, you're fine. Okay, but if you made fried eggs or something, rinse out those eggshells. Get rid of any of that egg in there. Put the banana peels and the shells in there. 250, usually about a half an hour. You'll know they're done when you can take out your banana peel, hold it up, and snap it in half. Then you know you're done. Okay. The thing is, you don't want the reason that's so important is you don't want any moisture in those jars, because if you do have any, it's going to start to mold. KS1 Big Dad, with Canada's gun ban, what are the implications for us? Nothing, because we don't follow Canadian law. But yeah, if you guys caught that one, it was at 11:59 last night. They kind of slid in banning hunting rifles too. That'll go over real well in Canada. But it's not going to affect us. Again, remember, Canada doesn't have the Second Amendment. Canada's also, a lot of the Canadians are going to give, Trudeau the one-finger salute. So, again, it's the same thing as I said 5 minutes ago. You can make any laws you want. Good luck enforcing them, okay? I mean, I know around here, if Biden came out and said guns are outlawed, there ain't a cop around here that's going to sit there and enforce it. I mean, a cop would be more like, hey, you might want to hide that. That would be more their response, okay? Misty Woods, what bottom feeder fish are you going to get? The only thing, I will get a couple of grass carp if we have algae and grass and stuff like that growing. If I don't, because it's such a clay bottom, then I probably not going to get anything, and just let the bass take care of it themselves. Miranda Babcock, who do I buy silver coins or silver bars from? I've got a video on there. Go look for how to buy silver as a prepper. I've got a whole video where I walk you all the way through it. Going hot. Favorite Freedom Seed dispenser, AR-14. Yeah, there you go. I've got that one right next to my AK-46. So, if you want to talk about rifle, yeah, it would be my AR-15. Okay, and if you want to talk about pistol, my favorite pistol still is my CZ75 75B SP01. So, I mean, I've got other ones, but that one's still my favorite. Jay Myers, no live stream Christmas Eve. Next after that will be on the 27th. My birthday will be 63 years old. Well, congratulations. You're finally in the collect Social Security crowd. CB, do I have any rifle calibers bigger than a 5.56? Yes, I have my 308, and I am trying to acquire, let's put it that way. I can get it. It's just a matter of if I can get permission to get it, and no, not from the government, from somebody that's more powerful in my house than the government, is to get either a 30 cal chain gun or a Modus. That's what I want. Okay, but I got to come up with a lot of money for those first. T-Bone, what seed companies would you recommend buying from, or do I buy local? We've answered this one a few times. It depends on where you live, okay? because remember, the seed companies that you're getting from, there's a lot of good ones, don't get me wrong. And I mean, everybody's got different ideas. But the seeds that, let's say, M.I. Gardner has are going to be very, because he's from Michigan, and he's got great seeds, don't get me wrong, okay, are going to be very different than the seeds you get from, say, Haas Tools, which is down in Georgia. The ones down in Georgia are obviously more suited for a southern climate. The ones that are up M.I. Gardner's got are more suited for a northern climate because that's where they're growing the plants. That's the climate they're used to. But I mean, you could talk about Baker Creek. You could talk about Johnny Seeds. You could talk about Burpee. There's a bunch of them, okay? Some are good, some are bad. But you know, where I get a lot of my seeds from is Haas Tools, just for the simple reason they're down south and everything's acclimated for the southern climate. So, whoops, shut to the bottom. Back here. Southern Cat Lady, do I have any videos on salt curing meat? No, I do not. Let's see. The Cushnet Prepper, do I make a wish when I grind up the turkey bones? Well, Mrs. P did find the wishbone, and she won the wishbone. So, don't know what she wished for, because then it wouldn't come true. Ann Palmer, have I ever grown tomatoes with a grow light? Miss my fresh tomatoes. I haven't. I mean, I grow everything outside. You can, but just so you know, you have to get the purple lights, if you see them, the ones that have the infrared and the ultraviolet in them. A regular white light would be fine for growing like lettuce or something, but anything that fruits needs to have ultraviolet and infrared light too. Debs, Christmas tree lots here have sold trees for generations have said no trees this year in Southeast Ohio. Probably because it's so damn expensive to get them. You know, again, if they're selling them for 80, 90, $100 a piece, they got to buy them first. And whatever inventory they're left with, they're out the money for. Let's see. Michael Eversberg, Pinball, I'm hoping next year to get my garden going. So, and we stopped. I'm Ben S. A truck, Campbell, what chives do I grow? I don't grow chives. Crazy family thing. Did you shop for Mrs. Pinball yet? Is my truck all fixed? Oh, yeah. My Christmas shopping is done, wrapped under the tree and everything. And yes, my truck is fixed. It was a new starter that it needed. And then I think I told you we had to get the actuator fixed for the defrost heater, vent, everything like that. So, yep, I got my truck back. It's back out here again. Thank God. I feel naked without my I feel naked without my gun. I feel naked without this thing, and I feel naked without my truck. And we're not going to get into any more naked comments. Let's see. Oh my God, it's 2 minutes to 10. Diana, have you tried a green stalk? Wonder how long they last. Mrs. P's got one. We weren't really a fan. I mean, some people may like them, everything like that. We weren't really a fan of it. It's, you know, I mean, could it work? I mean, it would be great for somebody who lives in an apartment and has a balcony or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. For us, we've got all the garden space, so I don't know how long they last. Let's see. Whoops, what was that? Moonlight Gardener, thank you for super chat, and Merry Christmas to you too. Gardenmatic 81, why don't we hear more on the Chinese police in New York from the news media? Because the news media doesn't care. The last thing they wanted, I mean, they're in a bag for the Chinese, just like remember, the Democrat Party's in a bag for the Chinese, so therefore the media's in the bag for the Chinese. Try to find anything bad about China that the media is going to say. Remember, these are all the people that want communism. Klaus Schwab came out a week or so ago and said China's the role model for the rest of the world. Really? You know, I hope you don't have a different religion because you'll end up a slave. I hope you are ready to go to re-education camps. I hope you are ready to bow down and worship Joe Biden as a god because that's what goes on in China, you know. But yeah, that sounds like, a role model for the rest of the world to me. All right. 'Tis 10 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And to our winner this evening, let me see if you've already sent this over to me. No, I haven't seen it. Send me your email so I can send you your prize. All right, guys. Stay dry out there. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Pinball out.